Okay, we're live on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We already have a few people joining us here and a couple comments. Hello, I'm looking forward to this presentation, and this looks like an interesting one for sure. So we're excited to be with you again today.
Okay, are we ready?
Go ahead, Charlie. It's all you now.
Well, it's not all me. It's just me for about 5 seconds. But I'm really happy to have two very good friends of mine on with us today. Marlin and Carol Peters are the owners of MarsEnergyTools.com, and that's M-A-R-Z Energy Tools. And they manufacture tensor rings and other associated products associated with tensor rings. And Marlin's been at this now for several years, and what began really as just a tensor ring business, he and Carol have expanded this. As you can see, they're sitting in this magnificent creation of theirs that they're going to describe today as well. But tensor rings are the kind of the reinvention, I'll say, of Slim Sperling, who was lived in Colorado about 50 years ago, and he wrote several books about tensor rings and their amazing healing powers, not only for human beings but for the environment. We use them extensively at home. Carol, my significant other, wears them on her fingers because she's a dentist and she has arthritis, and she wears several of the rings that Marlin and Carol made for her, and uses them in her practice to keep the pain down as she's doing her dentistry work. And we've used them for remediation of EMFs, for just a whole for making plants grow better. There's a whole bunch of applications, and so I don't want to take any more of their time, but I want to introduce Marlin and Carol and tell you we appreciate your being here. So take it away, Marlin and Carol.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, thanks a lot. The gift that you gave me, the tensor ring business, I'm so grateful for, because we're just moving it forward, and we're experiencing such amazing psychic rewards from the experience that people are having for healing and EMF. I mean, there's people who in their homes can feel the negative energy of detrimental compression waves. And when someone hangs a meter on their, or hangs a tensor ring on their smart meter, they came to our booth and told us, we didn't even know who they were, that their husband went out, hung it on the meter, and their family immediately felt this relief. And so that's the kind of thing that keeps us moving forward. And people are asking us, can we do this and can we do that? And that's how this came to be. A healer asked us to make something that her clients could sit in, so that before she works on them, she understood the properties of the rings. For instance, she's got one of these in her home and she just loves it. Denisa crystal, depends how you pronounce it. But so we made one from, what's that?
She asked if we could make one like this, only of the galactic frequency, big enough for someone to sit in.
Right. So we did it, and she came to our venue where we made this, and she loved it, and she asked us to put it in her home. And then 2 days later, or next day, one of her clients came in totally exhausted, and she was telling us that when she got out of this, she was energized, felt lighter, and she said, when can you have one for me? So since then, we've been showing it, and we just set one up in a major wellness center in Harrisburg, Capstone Wellness. And we're going out to do a presentation for their staff and other people. And well, we're just having a great time doing it, and we're loving the experience people are having from them. So Did you want me to continue? I think you wanted to, or we wanted to talk about how this progressed from when I first started.
Oh,
this
sure.
process.
Why don't you give us a history of that for sure? Because
So, yeah, so
you have taken that from a very simplistic stuff that I was doing years ago to just a whole new level of creativity and power and energy for these things.
Yeah, and I can attest to the tensor ring on the smart meter. When we lived right below Pittsburgh, we lived down there for a few years, and we weren't aware that the meter was right on the outside of our bedroom wall on the outside of the house. And we could just never sleep properly, tossing and turning all the time, crazy dream and scary dreams, you know, things like that. And I was trimming the bushes one day around the house and found this, and it was a smart meter on the side of the house. And I had one of your tensor rings. So I put that right over top of it, and it really just transformed everything. I also, just to be safe, taped one to the wall on the inside of the bedroom as well, on the other side of the smart meter, just so, you know, because of the transition of it passing back and forth, maybe to the neighbor's house. So, and it worked really well. We slept better. We felt better, you know, more energized, not tired all the time. So more mental clarity, you know.
great.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Yeah, great. Yeah, so I began making those rings for EMF, and it's really all I had in mind at first. Then I went back and started reading Slim Sperling's books again and seeing some of the tools he made. And one of the things was this feedback loop. There's a very simple one that's used for the physical body, where energy would literally come in one end. It will pull negative energy, pain, inflammation, whatever you want to call it, density, and reverses phase about 2/3 of the way around and comes back as healing light. So Slim had a friend who was a very sensitive clairvoyant, and when he would use something like this and hold it near a person's injury, that clairvoyant could see what looked like diesel fumes coming out of the body. And then they could see the white healing light going back in there to replace it. So this is like a heavy duty one. This was also works on other dimensions. We had a woman come here with a neck injury, and she claimed that no chiropractor could fix her. But then she went to a reader, and the reader said, well, you died from a neck injury in a previous life. So we got this out, worked with her for about 10 minutes, and she's had no pain since. We called her several weeks afterwards, and she goes, still no pain, everything's great. So it's, you know, I mean, we're thrilled to be able
Yes.
to do that.
And
go
I can attest to that product as well. I believe I saw you at an event, I think the event in Pittsburgh last year, when you, right after you had made the first one of those, and I had a pain in my shoulder that I couldn't get rid of. And I could feel that pain pulling. You were like pulling literally the pain out of my shoulder. It was crazy. It's so powerful.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy good.
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
Yeah. So of course we made that one, and Charlie, well, you both have come to our stand, our booth, but then
Yeah.
we started making neck rings. Let me share that with you.
Sure.
Connected with a fellow who does deep breathing exercises in Miami. Is Devon, the Black Airbender. So he's also into pyramids. He wears a pyramid on his head all the time.
Smart
And,
guy.
his friends are wearing these neck rings, and I thought, what the heck? So we thought, okay, let's make them. Well, then we had a guy come to our vending booth, and he was totally exhausted from the negative energy from the lights. And we put these on his neck, and his body, he just went, oh, relaxed. And he sat in a chair. We didn't have this at the time, for about 10 minutes, and he left feeling relieved. So, you know, that's just one more product. My wife is wearing a halo, which we call them. So in reading Slim's books, I decided to make a new dimension large ring. I don't have it here, but let's see. No, that's okay. The rings are this big that you can bring down over a body. This is a galactic ascension ring. We have 4 different frequencies of large rings. And when people use these, they seem to be able to tell, they can pick it up and feel which one works best for them. And so we made this large new dimension ring. And I had some wire left over. So I thought, well, let me make one for the head. And we took it to the Hamburg last spring. Only one we had, and a woman insisted on having it. And next thing we know, vendors are coming to us saying, "Where's that ring? We want to buy one." And we're like, "Okay, we just found something new that works really well." Go ahead, Carol. I'll let you say a few things here.
The beautiful thing about this ring, it's sort of hard to see the construction of it, but it's actually like has a double wire twist to it. And so not only are you getting the positive tensor field, and by the way, all of the tensor rings are based in sacred geometry. So the way that this one works, you're getting the positive energy from the tensor field coming this way and this way. But because of the double wire construction, you also have a peripheral energy all the way around. So not only coming around it this way. So not only do you have this positive energy coming, when you're wearing it, coming straight up and down this way, but also all the way around. And there's been some people that have put this on and, in 5-10 minutes, they can feel their neck ache or their headache gone. One woman said, "My lower back doesn't hurt anymore." She was like, couldn't believe it because she only had it on like 10 minutes. And so there's a lot of pain management capabilities of these tensor rings, and it's powerful. Copper has its own healing, but there's so many different ways to use them, and we encourage people to be creative with them because we've learned so much from the practitioners that are actually using our tools on the different ways that they've used it, and it's just been amazing. And we've been able to share a lot of that information with other people who are looking for relief of the same issues. So it's lovely.
Yeah, these tools are so important, especially at this time. There's so many people suffering with autoimmune diseases, which are initially just caused by the electrical magnetic frequencies around us. They're shorting out our own electrical system, so to say. And, that's why these tools really come in handy for that. It's really transforming those energies, because energies can't be created or destroyed, but they can be transformed. And it doesn't seem like they're going to be going away anytime soon. So we need to learn to live with them and transform them, so tools like this are so very important. I need one of those halos because I try to put the one for the smart meter on my head and it falls off because I do get headaches a lot if I'm doing readings for people or healings for people. Sometimes I get those energies built up inside me and just need release. So those would be, that's amazing. That's amazing how you have evolved just over the past year in the tools that you're making now,
Well, and most people don't even realize, because I sort of refer to the detrimental EMFs as like the silent killer because people can't see it. And they know is that they just don't feel well. And, and they may notice that whenever they're around their cell phone or around their microwave or, the thing is the smart meters have turned virtually every appliance into an EMF generator. And so we are getting bombarded, satellites are bombarding us, with the EMF. So a lot of people don't realize just how much they're getting, how much exposure they're getting. And now with 5G going in on, on just about every block in every city, and the 5G energies are really detrimental to your health. They actually eliminate oxygen from your body.
Oh, yeah. And then when you have a buildup of different appliances, smart appliances inside your home, and then you have a metal roof on top of it, it's like you're in your own version of a microwave because there's nowhere for them to escape your home. They're constantly bouncing off the roof and hitting you again and again and again and again, instead of just releasing, hitting you once and releasing. So it's even more detrimental in that aspect. People need to become more aware of, their home living conditions, their work living conditions as well,
Absolutely.
Just as an aside on that topic, I had to get my cell phone company to give me an LTE extender because for whatever reason, the 5G conversions around here limited my ability to get them. And the reason I'm bringing this up, when I set up that machine, there are 14 different appliances or devices in our home that are emitting EMFs because they count the number of potential connections that could be used, for this extender. So we just don't even know we're not aware of how pervasive this is in our homes as well. So, just keep that in mind. So I was out obviously for a while. Did you go through, and it might be helpful if you didn't, just kind of the different sizes and uses of all of your products?
Yeah,
And
I would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I would
Yeah.
do that. But I was just getting ready to do that. I will say
Okay.
that you mentioned your partner with her arthritis in her fingers.
right.
It's like a finger ring. Carol has one on, and we used to show that these were great for the cell phones also, but with 5G, we have a friend in Florida who's a family nurse practitioner, and she douses everything. Matter of fact, when I was sick, she was telling me, use this. She would ask me, what did I use? And use this, don't use that. And Carol's looking at me like, I don't think so. And when she was done, we did muscle testing, and she was right on the money with everything. So she just sets her intention on whatever it is and douses, and it's amazing. The result she gets. But she's tested this. This is a quarter cubit, 14 gauge tensor ring, which now will work with the 5G phones. It will eliminate it. We had someone come here with a meter testing everything to check us. And we held it on the phone. Well, anyway, he was impressed with how well this works. And we even have little pockets that you can, let's say a card pocket or a credit card, or like you put it on your back of your
Okay.
phone, an adhesive, you can slip this down in there, and that will neutralize that negative energy, because the cell phone is literally the worst proponent of negative energy that we have.
Yeah.
We say Wi-Fi produces a lot, but the phone is with you all the time. Whether you, and a woman came to us, said she kept her phone in her bra, and then she had breast cancer in that breast. So it's super important. I've seen women stick their phones down in front of their, in their pants, and I even offered to give this to some people because the options aren't good. You want something protective.
So on another note there, I'd like to add, in regards to this particular ring, it's important to know that even if you don't have a 5G phone, if your carrier has upgraded to 5G, you still may be getting the 5G through your phone, whether you have a 5G phone or not. So it's important to at least have one of these or some method of protection on your phone.
That's right.
And
That's
for
right.
children under 12 years old, their brains are like huge sponges, and the EMFs are they're like 10 times worse for children under 12 than even for us adults. So it's even more important that we protect our children with at least a ring like this on their phone. And I wear this Janessa bracelet. That way I have it with me all the time, and it looks great as a bracelet, but you can open it up and set it right in front of your computer, and it actually neutralizes the EMFs coming through the computer. And we have small versions of this also for children. So it's important to at least have something like this, one of these on your phone, and something like this for the laptop or Wi-Fi or whatever that you're using.
So I saw a test done one time where somebody had a Tensor ring on their phone, and it showed the energy reading of the person without the phone, then with the phone, and then with the phone with the Tensor ring. And with the phone with the Tensor ring, their energy was actually stronger than alone without the phone and without the Tensor ring, because it's transforming those negative energies of the phone into beneficial energies. So now you're being blasted with these beneficial energies, which is making your whole aura stronger.
Right.
Which was pretty cool. But do you find it's very important to not only put the protection of the Tensor ring on your phone, but to wear something on your body as well to protect pretty much yourself from all the other frequencies around
Yeah,
you.
we
that are
all
not your
have it.
phone. Yeah, that's what we're part of the Tensor Ring Club too.
Well,
That's cool.
the beautiful thing is I like to call it functional art to empower your life, because whether you're standing in front of somebody that has a cell phone or an iPad or whatever, you're protected just by wearing it. And it looks nice. We make pendants that have the amethyst crystal in it. And the beautiful thing about the tensor field, it not only clears the crystal, but it also charges it. And we found this by accident, that some ladies that used one of the Genesis spheres, they wanted to check their crystals. They wanted to clear them and check them. And here they came back the next morning and bought 3 more of these, because they said that the charge on their crystals was off the charts. They couldn't even read it. And we were so busy that we failed to even ask how they could check the charge. So we're still not sure how they did that, but at any rate, we also make a large ring. Actually, this is the large ring for the crystal grid. It can be worn as a neck ring, or you can use it for a crystal grid too. So
Yeah, set up a little altar with the crystal grid if you want. People like to do
Oh,
that.
very nice.
Yeah, it energizes, clears, and charges the crystals. So,
and then we also have arrowheads to appeal to the men, the masculine energy, not necessarily just men, but
Okay.
yeah,
Very good.
Oh,
the
oh, for the jewelry, you have arrowheads with the tensor rings.
yes, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Now making earrings, 14G earrings, and so we're expanding all the time.
yeah, we are. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Now I have to apologize because I thought you were still working under tensorring.com. And I noticed the website is still up. Are people able to go there and to marsenergytools.com to order?
They are. We didn't close it down because the individual working on it just left kind of in the middle of setting up the Squarespace Mars Energy Tools. So there's someone coming on board the end of January that we've agreed, tentatively agreed for them to finish it and to launch us on Facebook with Mars. So
Okay.
yeah, you can do both. And on the logo of Mars Energy Tools, it says formerly tensorring.com. So one of these days we'll point Tensorring to Mars. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's good
Fantastic.
to know.
So
One of the,
go ahead.
go ahead, Marlon.
Well, one more thing. We talked about these pendants, and the nurse in Florida measured this. I sent her some. She says if you take this quarter cubit 8 gauge, set it down, open up this Janessa bracelet sphere and set it on top. She said it will clear negative compression waves from 12 to 2,500 square feet in a space. And if you want even more energy, you put a white napkin or white piece of paper underneath it. And the color white, she's also into color therapy, sound therapy. So, but put the white napkin underneath here and it will energize this even more, which is cool. You have a question?
Interesting. Well, I do. I'm not familiar with the term. What was it? Negative compression wave?
Yeah, detrimental compression waves from the
Detrimental compression wave.
yeah, that's what it is. From the dirty electricity from lights and just
Okay. Okay.
General.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. Fantastic.
there was something else I wanted to share and I forgot. Oh, so just some of the benefits. There's an acupuncturist in Gainesville, Florida, ordered a bracelet, Janessa, and she emailed me a month later, ordered another one. She goes, I just want you to know, I have 2 large ganglion cysts on my wrist. And when I wore this for a month, they're down 70% in size. So I want one on my other arm too. Yeah, is that cool? So
Wow.
well, and a guy in Maryland bought one and gave it to his wife. She had a headache, so she wrapped her hair in a bun and set this on top of her head. And she said, not only did it take away her headache, but it gave her energy that she hadn't had before. So there's just so many uses to these. We're always, I don't know, just an appreciation of the gift that we have that we can offer, and the experience of people are having. And I would like to just,
Can I add one thing about the Janessa bracelet? I love wearing this all the time because when we go out to a restaurant, I open it up and it forms a barrier around our table. So in restaurants, you're exposed to, like some of the people that are sitting at the tables surrounding you having
Oh,
2 to 6 or more phones. And so
Right.
it's a great little tool to pull out, put on the table. You've got a 6 to 8 foot barrier around you where you're
Mhm.
not being exposed to their EMFs from their cell phones. So,
Right. Right.
these are some amazing tools that can be used that make great Christmas gifts too, by the way.
yeah. Well, I have
Very good idea, by
Yeah.
the way. Yeah. I will attest to what you're talking about in the context of pyramids, because as I was mentioning, I was having problems with my cell phone reception. And, if I held my phone, which you can't see very well, but it's in my hand here, outside the pyramid, I could use it. But if I pulled it inside where I'm sitting right now, if you can see the post here, it doesn't show up in the green screen very well, but the signal would go away. So there's similar characteristics, and they must be functioning in somewhat similar fashions, because and so it's an amazing thing. You're like in a bubble, literally being protected, like in the big coil that you've got, that you're sitting in right now. So it's an amazing phenomenon. And people, I know I was at a conference here. It was called oh goodness, Reawaken America. And I was talking to some of the vendors last week because they had EMF remediation equipment and so forth. And I was asking them how they tested, and, but I told them about the pyramids, and they couldn't believe that it would actually work, So, but anyway, folks, this does work. So, I can attest to that from personal experience.
I have a question real quick. You were talking about dirty electricity, and some people aren't aware of what dirty electricity is. I know it bounces off of different metal objects in your home, and bed springs are a big culprit as well. So that could be a big problem why people are having trouble sleeping. My boyfriend got mad because I made him throw out our bed springs, and then we had to build a base. But could just putting one of your tools underneath the bed or beside the bed help transform that dirty electricity as well?
Yeah, it could. I've had 2 videos, and I don't think they're on the site yet, but one woman came in and she does 4 to 5 protocols every night, tart cherry juice and all these things before she goes to bed.
In attempts to sleep well.
Yeah, so she gets 2.5, maybe at most 4 hours. And Carol took the large sacred cubit down over the woman, and she was like, whoa, she could feel the energy. So she told her, when you go home tonight, don't do your protocols. Take the ring down over yourself, clear your auric field, slide it under your bed. On Sunday, she came running into us. 7 hours she got, most she's ever had. And then now she's recording 8.2 hours, 6.7. But she's so delighted. And then another woman came and said, my husband and I have never slept so well. They put the big rings under their bed. And, it works really well. There's people who have had, a woman in Allentown, this is amazing, diabetes, 4 shots a day she takes. Her blood sugar is 250 every morning.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. Way high. So I won't go through the whole story, but she has one sacred cubit under her bed now. She said when she gets up, her blood sugar is between 130 and 150. And she didn't make any other changes. And I asked someone, what's happening here? And we already knew that the rings will balance your chakras. And I've had my aura taken before and after sitting in the rings, amazing changes. But she said it's balancing her energy centers or her chakras, creating coherence in her adrenal system. And now everything's functioning better than it was before. And so, we're delighted. And then if I may share a couple things.
sure.
Well, can I touch on that diabetes real quick? Because there is research that electrical magnetic frequencies, dirty electricity specifically, is what affects diabetes and causes diabetes. There was a test, I believe, that you could do by just running on a treadmill and seeing if the dirty electricity from the wires and from the treadmill increases your insulin or not. And then you can tell if your diabetes is caused by the dirty electricity or not.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I haven't. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
We encourage people to use their imagination and intuition. And then another woman came to us. You want to tell this? Well, okay. Well, she had a neck ring. Alga, remember that? Well, anyway, she comes to us and says, I want to share with you what I do. She bought a neck ring for just because she could feel relief from it. So she had a friend who had cellulitis. And so she takes the neck ring
In the leg.
Oh yeah, in the legs, and the lady's standing in front of her, and she starts doing this, just waving it in front of this lady, in front of her legs, and she sees the redness start to disappear on her legs as she's doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, I mean, so you're getting this tensor field creating a flow of energy back and forth on this distressed area, and it's literally healing. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were at the WAPF, Weston A. Price Foundation,
It's
this guy came to us, and for 4 or 5 years, his wife said, pain from the time he gets up in the morning till he goes to bed, when he's standing or walking. And the only relief he gets is laying down or sitting down. And he said his chiropractors give him an adjustment, and it's just very temporary. So we tried this, and I explained to the guy before I brought the rings down, that I said, you realize your energy, that's what you are, not necessarily this physical body. He goes, yeah, I got that. I said, okay, so, and I've known from working with people that feel the energy, they have their eyes closed and they know exactly where I am on their body. And if they tell me to stop a certain spot, I will move the rings up and down like this. And they say, I can feel the energy waving up and down. And it finally hit me. I'm like, what that's doing is creating a change of energy in their body. Electrons and, just waves. So I tell this guy, what can happen is we can go from matter to energy and particle to wave.
That's right.
Happens, you're in the quantum field, and that can come back just like it is, or it can come back normal. So, let's see how it goes. 5 minutes I worked with this guy. When I stopped doing it, he just looking at me, and I said, well, see how your body feels, if you can move it. He lifts his one leg up in the air and makes his face. And his wife is going, oh my God. He lifts I'm getting all choked up. He lifts the other leg up and he turns away from us and he's crying.
Oh, yeah.
So he turns back to us and he's like, I can't believe it. He goes, no pain. So 5 hours later, he comes back. I want you to know, I'm walking like an 18-year-old. I have no pain. And the next day,
Wow.
back again.
Yep.
So, I mean, this you can imagine how we feel.
Yeah.
Imagine how he felt. It's like this,
Yeah. So many.
Go ahead.
So many people are just getting Band-Aids slapped onto their aches and pains, just to cover up the symptoms and not healing the underlying cause. But everything starts in the energetic field. All aches and pains, disease, it starts in the energetic field. So that's why it's so important to treat that. And that's what you guys are doing, that's why you're healing people. You're literally healing people.
Yeah.
I'd like to add one thing too. And whenever we take the large rings down over someone, we do have a ring that's specific for water restructuring. And the beautiful thing about that is it's important to, make sure that you're drinking healthy, restructured water, because it makes it so that your cells can absorb it better. But when you're using these large rings and taking the large rings down over your body, you're actually restructuring the water in your body as well. So at the same time as releasing any pain or stuck energy, and
Mhm.
you know, and you know, being involved with the the tensor ring and the tensor rings and the healing tools and stuff like that. I've always had a strong desire to help people, and so about a year and a half ago, someone offered a remote healing mastery class in bioenergy healing. And so I went for that. So this is like so beautiful because using the tensor rings plus doing the protocols that I've been taught, it's just amazing how much we're able to serve and to help people. So it's you just can't put a price on that.
No, you can't. And it's so nice. I mean, sounds like you and Marlon kind of are like Lisa and me. I mean, Marlon probably more involved with making them like I am, but Lisa's the one who can actually apply the technology and help heal people. So it's really a joy to work with Lisa, and I'm sure you guys enjoy working together, doing it, kind of the same way. So I hope you do anyway.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, she's right there. We're like, when we're out vending, even here, we're just working so well together. Our
That's
life
great.
is so amazing. It's really. But
Yeah.
what was I going
You-
for? Let me, in view of what Carol said, let me share this thing. So I had a lady from Flagstaff, Arizona, call me about tensor rings, and she's got all this stuff going on. She's she's a massage therapist, and when she starts telling me her story, blurry eyes, brain fog, arms are burning, hands are burning.
She's not vexed.
She didn't get back. She's working on people and she's picking up the shedding from the spike protein. Okay, so I said, you know what? I think you need to talk to my wife. She's got a protocol for something exactly like you're experiencing. And so she talked to Carol. Carol did a remote healing on it. It cleared everything.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
And then another woman in Florida called me because the nurse down there suggested she needed some rings. And after I talked to her, I said, you need to talk to Carol because I think what she has would help you. And she did. And I mean, actually, because she talked to that woman, our lease is up, so we have to move. Now, that woman got us in touch with someone who has a rental property on a retreat center in Georgia. And we're moving in December to Georgia.
Wow, congratulations. That's exciting. It's
are
funny how synchronicity just go with the flow and allow yourself to be pulled in the right direction, and things just fall in your lap like that. It's awesome.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
It's beautiful. We're feeling very blessed. And the amazing thing is when she connected me with this woman, I mean, it feels like a soul family connection. And when we talked on the phone, she said, oh my God, she said she shared with me that it was like she was talking with her sister. She felt, just that amazing connection. And so I flew down there, and second day I was there, I said, okay, everything's feeling really great about this, but I need a sign. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, a sign. Sure enough, that evening, my friend that picked me up at the airport took me up to the retreat center and stayed with me the weekend. She asked if we could go out on the porch and have dinner, and it was raining. Next thing you know, the sun comes out. Huge double neon rainbow right over top of the property, the house that we are moving into.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, wow. How great is that?
How's that?
It's like-
Divine, yeah, divine.
it's like I said, okay, I get it. There's my sign.
There you go. That's right. That's it.
Where
And the thing people may not know right now is that you all live at a retreat center right now. So it's like going from one to another. It's an amazing experience. So,
but the shop that Marlin's new tensor ring making facility
much better
is
than where
going
I'm
to be
at.
a whole lot better than where he's at now.
well, that's so much the better then. That's great.
Well, and I would like to add this before we say anything more. Marlin he is very intentional whenever it comes to making the tensor rings and the tensor poles. He calls in the spirit of Slim Sperling, all the ascended masters and the feeling highest energies of love and light. And he also infuses all his own love into all the tools, everything that he makes, because he wants it to be used for everybody's highest good. So not only are you getting quality, handcrafted tools, but also know that the tools that you're receiving have carried the intention of love and healing. And I also, as I'm cleaning everything, by the way, with ketchup before an event, everything gets a ketchup bath because it gets rid of the oxidation. So if you're looking for a way to get your tensor rings beautiful and shiny again, ketchup is wonderful for it. But as I'm cleaning it,
How about that?
my healing energy with it as well. So
That's awesome. That's very important. You know, that's what I make, the capstones and the energy tools that go with the pyramid. And I do the same. And when we were really busy last year and I had to have staff help me, that was my number one rule, was you need to be, you know, intentional and in a good positive vibration when you're working on these. If you're in a bad mood, just go home. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, that comes,
Absolutely.
yep, go ahead.
it comes through.
Mhm.
A lot of this ties into something you just said earlier, Marlin, and that term is coherence. If you don't make the products, whether it's a tensor ring or a pyramid or a capstone or anything else, energy healing tool, without good intention, I don't think there's going to be anywhere near the value, because the coherence of that intention seems to be put into the unit, whatever it may be. And we've noticed, for example, and I was just thinking, Lisa, out loud, Lisa did an experiment recently where she measured her coherence before and after picking up a gallon of water, I think it was, wasn't it, that you had stored
pyramid
inside
water,
the
yeah.
pyramid.
Oh,
And so it went using percentiles. I think it was from 92 to 99 by holding the water. I bet you we could do the same kind of experiments with the tensor rings, and we would find exactly the same kind of a result. So just something to think about. Maybe we can do that.
Yeah.
And bring you guys back on sometime in the future when you're down in Georgia and do the results of that, because that would be fun.
Absolutely.
yeah, we're planning on experimenting with the environment. This has been shown by individuals, the energy from the sphere to go hundreds of miles. And right now we have a gallon of water with the unconditional love and peace and
Can't read it.
prosperity written on the jar, but we're sending that out from here for hundreds of miles, that wave,
Mhm.
that vibration. And when we go down there, Carol had a thought. We were laying in bed talking one night about what if we took some of our tools and put them in water, polluted water, to see what that could do to change it. And we're literally going to do some testing. I'm premature talking about this, but we want to test water and then use our instruments and then have some third party come back and test the water to see what they were getting. And I mean, I've been wanting to be able to make harmonizers like Slim Sperling made. And I think with this new shop and some new tools, I'll be able to do that. But we may already have something really powerful here that we're not even aware of the potential. So
It's called the Super G.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there was something else I'd like to, if you don't mind me sharing.
No, not at all. We lost Charlie again. He'll be right back. His internet, it must be his internet. We're not sure yet, but he keeps popping on and off during our live stream. So hopefully we'll get it fixed.
Are we okay with time?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so the normal feedback loop, I don't have it right here, but it's just a single wire wrap. a woman purchased it because her dog, 12 years old, has trouble every day for the last year getting out of its bed in the morning.
Hip dysplasia.
Yeah, so I showed her how to use it. I gave instructions. When we send these things out, unless it's just a simple ring, we'll give you instructions on how to use it. You can call us anytime. We'll talk to you. So instead of using it on the dog's hip, she slipped it underneath his bed that he lays on at night.
She laid it on his hip.
Well, now she put it under the bed. Well, first she did, but anyway. So she fooled around with the dog using it, but she put it overnight under his bed. She got up the next morning and the dog was jumping around, waiting to get outside for its walk.
Aw,
Time in a year.
Great.
So she didn't even use it right. That's why we encourage.
that's what I was gonna say. She didn't, it doesn't have to be pointed towards.
That's what we thought. We just
Well,
learned something.
Yeah,
And we were told
Right.
our intention for this to be a healing tool. It doesn't necessarily have to be used the specific way.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just, that's why we encourage creativity. But I would like to share a little bit about the Super G. You know,
Go ahead.
this holistic healer that does all kinds of. She uses a lot of his tools. Encouraged him to make this, and you know, this is of the galactic ascension frequency. So it's a very powerful tool, and actually every one of the twists of the galactic frequency is like a mini torrid field that scientifically has been proven to increase longevity, because as we age, the telomeres on the ends of our chromosomes shorten. And regular use of the galactic frequency actually encourages the telomeres to once again start growing. So if you want to stop the aging process,
Yeah.
you know, using the galactic ascension frequency on a regular basis, you know, is a great tool to use. But we by accident found out after my husband built this, not only was the holistic practitioner elated to have one of these first spheres in her home, but we found out by accident when we had one set up here in our house, a tornado watch was moving through the area, or a tornado warning. And so this guy was helping Marlin make tensor rings, and he was watching it on his phone, and he was getting very nervous. Well, here, just before the storm got to our house, it actually split in the middle, and there was a green spot in the middle. It split and went completely around our house, and then came back together and continued on. And so I said, did you get any screenshots? No. So the next time, you know, a storm came through, and it turned out, and I made this little thing here. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but the next storm that came through, there was actually 3 cells, and you can see the red center in each one of the cells.
Yes.
As it moved over our house, the center one, where our property is, turned completely yellow in the center.
Yeah, the red.
Wow.
Whereas the other 2 stayed red in the center as it passed over our property.
And the red is the most intense, right?
That's where the, you know, the intense.
Yeah. So, wow. How amazing is that?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this bottom one,
You
but,
can describe it. It's
yeah,
okay.
we took several screenshots of this, and might be too hard to see. But this storm was coming from the northeast, or coming from the northwest, and right before it got to our house, it sort of collected together, went completely underneath us, and then came back up and then continued east. But it just came completely underneath our house, and that's what the other pictures are. It's showing the storm and where we tracked it, and it was amazing to watch it, because and we're not exactly sure whether it has to do with natural weather or
Yeah,
man-made type
contrived weather. We know.
Well,
controlled weather, whatever.
makes it,
you wanna call it. At any rate, we just
What-
know it works.
we do know from Slim Sperling's books that he was able to achieve this on numerous occasions with other people who had objects placed around the state. So I believe it's been pretty well documented that this works, and it's just so fascinating to see it in real time. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
Have you noticed an effect on the chemtrails at all?
Not necessarily, whenever I see the chemtrails, I actually, I don't get bothered by it. I do a motion with a figure 8 and I I say neutralize. But I'm sure that this energy is going out. The nurse practitioner that's from Tallahassee, Florida, that has tested a lot of Marlin's tools for, range and that type of thing. We saw her last weekend at the WAPF event, and she sat in the Super G. She said, this thing goes for miles. I mean, hundreds of miles. So she said that the power of this is incredible. And she also informed us that she wants one for her house too.
And she put a large ring on the top and said that it more than doubled the range. She said, I can't even tell you how far that could be. What this is doing, but it was like taking this and setting this here, same thing by putting one on top, and it increased expanded the energy field. So we don't even know what's possible, but we're going
sure
we're having fun finding out.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
So amazing.
Well, for people who might be interested in that big Super G, I know you were trying to, last time we met together, we're researching shipping options. Were you able to figure out, can these things be shipped?
So we did ship one to Florida, and the price was under $100.
Oh, okay.
Now, FedEx worked with us on the dimensions. However, I believe we can ship this ring for $100, and if we can't send it out for $100, I'll make up the difference. I'll pay whatever extra it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's
because
for people who might be thinking about it, how do you ship that thing? But you've developed some really unique clamps to put it together and so forth, so it'll collapse for shipping, I guess. And it's what about installation?
A lot of experimenting. You know how it is when you're trying to.
I know. Yeah.
This thing would collapse on its own without. So we finally figured out how to have it. Yeah. So it works really well.
Yeah. So that's amazing.
We
What? Go ahead.
We have an event coming up this weekend. If anybody would like to experience the energy of the Super G, we're going to be in Hamburg, Pennsylvania, which is just off of Route 78, right close to Cabela's. It's the next exit beyond Cabela's. So it's the Inner Peace Holistic Expo.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
And we also
now
people come to the events. Special pricing.
Cool. Back to the Super G just for a minute. Is anyone else out there making this product? I think this is something unique to you guys, is it not?
We've had people from all over, from Canada and everywhere around the US visit us. And matter of fact, someone came up from Florida, and the guy from California came in to meet his sister in Connecticut to come down and pick one up. No one yet that I know of has ever seen one or been in anything like it or heard of it.
Right. So kudos to you guys for coming up with that, because that's I think that's going to be something. Once people understand it more, they're going to really want more of these. And wouldn't these be great at retreat centers, or holistic health centers? Of course, it's a natural. So
We already have one wellness retreat where we're going because they were a little concerned about the last storm that was coming up from the Gulf. So We got one down there prior to the storm, and they're safe and sound.
Wow,
Nice.
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. So
We're really-
one last general topic I'd like to bring out on behalf of the audience. I know a little bit about this from my own experience, but you mentioned that there are 4 different frequencies, and I just want to kind of, at least in general terms, explain that, this is just another example of how geometry and math all work to produce frequency. But you might want to go through qubits and where they come from and how they relate to the frequencies that you can develop for the tensor rings.
Okay, no problem. So most people, if they know anything about the Bible, know that the ark was built, Noah's ark, with so many cubits. So a cubit was generally from your elbow to the tip of your fingers, 21 inches, 18 to 21. But sacred cubits, entirely different. They take measurements that they find from, for instance, the king's chamber has a granite block that sticks out about an inch right above the entrance, and they measured that precisely. That's where the first cubit came from for Slim Sperling, the sacred cubit. And
The Giza pyramid.
yeah, from the king's chamber in the Giza pyramid. So that frequency is 144 megahertz, and he has all these technical people that were working with him, especially one, and he was told that was the harmonics of the speed of light. But in general, it's the frequency for the human body and for the earth. So it works on the physical mainly. Then they came up with, and they found another one. Someone gave them a measurement, and that was called the lost cubit. The lost cubit works on your energy body, your auric field, and it works also on the physical, but mainly for your energy body, because that's where, when something happens, stress, anger, resentment, whatever starts out here, winds up creating dis-ease in the body. So it's great, clear that thing out. I mean, we've had people, we brought the rings down, that particular one, and one woman jumped, and she said, "Oh, you shocked me." And we're like, "Oh, that's a first. We'll stop." She goes, "No, no, no." So we worked it around her heart area. We were done. She said, "I had this awful relationship problem with my daughter, and you just relieved all the pressure." So that was the lost cubit. Then there's one, the galactic ascension, which was given to another individual it was channeled. That's the one that this is made of. There was a measurement, but no frequency given for that. And the same with the one called a harmony and balance. Harmony and well, let me say first, the galactic ascension is one for connecting with higher realms and higher self and higher energies. However, on that note, a woman came with a back problem, and I used the physical one on her, and she said, I felt a little bit, nothing. So she pointed to the galactic ascension. She goes, "I want that ring." Okay. Worked with her for just a couple minutes. She goes, "Oh, it took care of my pain." So you never know. Then there's the one called harmony and balance, which is a connection with the earth and the earth elements. And it's like a peace and love kind of feeling. And, a woman last weekend, 2 weekends ago, felt all the rings. And when she got to the harmony and balance, she goes, "That's the one I feel." And when we explained it to her, and I said, "Are you connected with nature and all?" She goes, "Oh yeah, I love nature." And she's like very earthy. And so it's funny how it relates to people, but the galactic ascension is supposed to have the frequencies of all of them. They say that. All I know is they all work. We do have see what I didn't mention, which we don't have big rings in. It's called the empowerment cubit. And we use it for a neck ring. And I gave it to a shaman, the 3 different rings that we have, a harmony and balance, the galactic ascension, and it's called an empowerment, which is 188 megahertz of frequency. And she put the first 2 on, and they were very soothing. She put the other one on. She goes, "Whoa, it's too much power for me." Too much energy for her. She was too sensitive to it. But when we bring people to our booth, some people relate to that very well. That's what they need.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually 5 different frequencies, but we're sticking with them. It's enough variation. I mean, and we're having such success. And so, but the lost qubit is 177 megahertz. It's so interesting. In the book, it shows you that the one for the physical is 144, the lost qubit's 177, and of course, there's 33 between them. And then the
Mhm.
empowerment qubit, which they found later, is 188. So they're supposedly compatible. And I don't know, I leave it up to you to decide what feels right. And when you go on our site, you can read, you'll see a little bit of information about each one. And then there's a little block that says read more. Please go there, because that will give you a detailed information on what the rings do, how to use them, and then you'll be able to assess. And you can even do muscle testing. Interesting.
Mhm.
I've done some muscle testing with guys who thinks these rings are BS, and it's so
Right.
I'll say, well, give me a little resistance. Okay, hold your phone up here to your chest, and whoop, the arm goes right down. Like, what the heck? I'll put a ring on their cell phone, hold it here, and like I'll hang on their arm and it won't go down. It's so cool.
Mhm. Yep.
Other tools as well to let them know if that works with them.
Sure. So now I know you guys do a lot of shows at live, but when people need to, can't come and see you at a show, I'm sure you're happy to talk to people about what might work best for them and so forth. So, I mean, I would just suggest to the people out in the audience, if you're interested, there's tons of questions. Go to the website and you get a lot of information, but I'm sure Carol and Marlin are happy to talk to you about these, about your issues as well. So anyway.
No question is a bad question. So
Exactly.
I steer people to other options that we didn't use to help them, and they're like grateful, because this, what I have isn't probably what you need. You need to check this out, and it works. So we're not here just to try to sell something. We'd like to help you.
Well, and that's the whole purpose of this. We're all hopefully doing this for the benefit of mankind. We're certainly not doing it to get rich.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I want to add one more thing too about the empowerment cubit. I believe that's the one that I'm wearing here right now. Our nurse practitioner friend said that whenever she's traveling, when she's driving, she loves to have one of these on, because she said it just helps her whenever she's dealing with the stresses and so forth, from whenever you're out traveling. I also read that having the lost qubit behind you whenever you're traveling for long distances is actually very healing, and can help you go for longer without fatigue. But and the empowerment qubit.
Isn't there one? Oh, sorry, Carol.
No, that's okay. Yeah, if you're having trouble making decisions, the empowerment qubit is just amazing at helping.
Isn't there a qubit, speaking of traveling, isn't there or a tensor ring that you can put on the gas tank to help?
Yeah, we do. We have one for that, and
It improves gas mileage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have one on my car. I know that. Had it for years.
If any of your listeners are using an electric vehicle, you definitely need to have a tensor ring under your seat. One on the steering wheel would be advisable.
Not right on the wheel, but right where the steering column comes up. You can actually either tape it to it or tie it to it. But we've been getting reports from a lady in California who says that negative energy coming through, she can feel it. And when she puts that gas cap ring on her steering wheel, no more negative energy.
Well, goodness, with all the electrical magnetic frequencies when you're driving anymore, these new cars, they have Wi-Fi blasting you, your cell phone's blasting you, the car's metal, so it's blasting you again and again, bouncing all over. every car that passes you, they're blasting you with numerous things and all these cell phone towers. So you definitely need protected when you're driving anymore. And that's a wonderful tool to have.
Yeah.
Prius, this woman has a smart meter ring under each seat of her car to eliminate that battery.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
One other application we haven't talked about for the guys, well, maybe the ladies too, of course. I have a tensor ring sitting on my bathroom sink. I put my straight edge razor in there. And let me tell you, Gillette does not make any money off of me anymore. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, Marlin's actually using the same cartridge on his razor ever since March of last year.
exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
Hey, I don't mind. Raise the price. I'm good.
Yeah, inflation won't hurt me there for sure. So, but anyway, well, I guess it's probably about time to wrap up here. Do you guys, first of all, how can people reach you again? Please tell us, and if you feel like giving out phone numbers or whatever contact information, please feel free to do that.
Okay, marsenergytools.com, MARZ energytools.com. My phone number is 717-462-1765. That's on the site, but it's probably, we're so busy making things and getting ready for the move, email me and I will answer every email. Or if you want to order something right away and have a question, go ahead and call me. I'm fine doing that. Was that? And there's a place for texting, a little message. Whenever you want to order something, if you say that I saw your interview with Charlie and Lisa, we will give you an extra 10% off of everything that you order. There's bundle discounts in there. If you order 2 large rings, you get $50 off for doing that, and I'll give you another 10% off. So
fantastic.
we need to know where you order, where you got the
information.
Yeah. So it's coming from you guys. We'll be happy to offer an extra discount.
Okay, fantastic.
Is the large one that you're sitting in, is it on the website right now?
No,
Not yet. It's
Okay, somebody commented and said they didn't see it on there.
yeah, neither are the halos.
the halos, and he's also now making ankle bracelets. Anytime that we go to a show and he doesn't have either the right size or whatever, he figures out a cubic measurement, a sacred cubic
It
measurement.
will work. Yeah.
It will work, for whatever size it is that people need. And it's amazing. I mean, a couple shows ago, somebody said, well, I need something for my ankle. So he made that, and you can also use it for your arm, and it's amazing. So if you have any special needs, he would address any of those special needs, and you can also schedule a bioenergy healing session with me by texting my number 717-557-2292, and just
will you repeat that, Carol? What was the number again?
717-557-2292, and just text me and say bioenergy healing, and I'll get back to you, and we can schedule a time that works for both of us.
Fantastic. All right. Well, do you have any closing words for us before we sign off for today?
Well, thank you everyone for taking the time to listen to this interview, and we so enjoy the work that we're doing, and we welcome any questions that you might have, and any referrals also.
Sure.
By all means, do check into the tensor rings for your protection, because in the world that we're living in now, it's getting more and more important that we protect ourselves and neutralize these EMFs.
For sure. Yes, definitely. So thank you so much. It was an honor to have you both on today, and I'm sure we will touch base again with you in the future and see what you're up to. It seems like you're constantly evolving, and that's just amazing to see.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We
Yeah, we're
appreciate
very
your-
grateful.
Charlie, your time and you
Lisa.
as
Okay.
well.
Oh, our pleasure. And look forward to having you back maybe next year after you're settled in.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Take care, everybody. And thanks for being with us on YouTube. If you have any questions for Marlin and Carol, feel free to comment. I put their contact information in the live chat as well. So you can look at the live chat replay for that information.
Okay.
Love you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, lots of love to you both. Take care.
Bye-bye. Let's see, how do we?